We often propose a hypothesis a flawed body will dictate a dark fate. But what happens when the harshest biological data is shattered by a great system known as willpower? Today, let's decode the file behind a different body. These are sharp testimonies of how humans manipulate adversity, breaking all physical limits. Before diving deeper into the analysis, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for the full experience. What do you think is the greatest barrier, the body or the mind? Leave a comment below. In the fashion industry, even a small scar can end a career. The hypothesis is this: what happens when a promising model loses both legs? Lauren Wasser faced that brutal reality when toxic shock syndrome, TSS, took her legs away. Society defaulted to the belief that she would become a cripple, retreating into the shadows. Her disabled legs were seen as the end of any standards of perfection that fashion magazines have always worshipped in an extreme manner. Instead of accepting her fate, Lauren began to analyze and overturn this rigid system of standards. If biological perfection was lost, she would create a new norm with metal. Lauren decided to gild her prosthetic legs, transforming a crude medical device into a powerful work of art. This dazzling visual highlight not only concealed the imperfection, but also forced the media lens to focus on it as a symbol of luxury and resilience. That stunning pivot brought Lauren back to the runway brighter than ever, earning her the title, "The Girl with Golden Legs." Not stopping at personal image, she used her influence to challenge corporations and advocate for legislation protecting women's safety. From the ruins of pain, Lauren proved that true beauty doesn't lie in physical wholeness, but in the power to manipulate adversity and be reborn from the ashes. The human operating system is designed around the complexity of the hands. The physiological hypothesis suggests that losing this body part equates to losing basic autonomy. Jessica Cox was born with a rare congenital defect that took away her hands from birth. In front of her lay a huge physical barrier where even the simplest tasks like putting on a shirt or holding a spoon became harsh survival challenges. Society had already prepared a life of complete dependency for her. Jessica reanalyzed her own nervous system. Based on the brain's flexibility neuroplasticity, she began a process of reprogramming her motor system, transferring 100% of her hands' tasks to her feet. Her body became a perfectly adaptable machine. Not stopping at basic activity, she pushed this system to its highest risk limits, driving martial arts, and even entering the cockpit of an airplane where the control panel was originally designed solely for hands. With iron will, Jessica broke every precedent to become the world's first armless female pilot and earned the prestigious Taekwondo black belt. Her feet now not only touch the ground, but also control the skies. Jessica's story is a perfect testament to the boundless strength of the human spirit, proving that physical imperfections can never imprison a mind yearning for freedom. Social hypotheses often impose fixed molds on the concept of attractiveness, where physical wholeness is a prerequisite. Kanya Sesser entered the world with a brutal starting point abandoned at the gates of a temple in Thailand simply because she had no legs. In the eyes of society, she was framed as a pitiable victim, a disabled person in need of protection. The barrier of prejudice created an invisible wall, preventing her from reaching the conventional aesthetic values of the community. Completely rejecting the lens of pity, Kanya established a new system for her life with a skateboard. She used speed to liberate her body, replacing imperfect steps with graceful glides. Bolder still, she decided to directly confront the divide between the concepts of disability and sensuality. She entered the lingerie modeling industry using her own imperfect body to challenge the strictest standards of the lens. By proudly showcasing her body's contours, Kanya sparked a visual revolution, forcing viewers to redefine the essence of beauty. She proved that allure does not lie in long legs, but radiates from fierce self-respect and vibrant life energy. Kanya's story is a profound psychological investigation, breaking down prejudices to honor one truth: a person is only broken when they deny themselves. Kanya's story is not just about beauty, but about the courage to be oneself. If you also believe that self-respect is the true source of beauty, hit the like button to spread this message. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join us in exploring more journeys that break through limits like this one. The biological limits of the human body on the peak of Mount Everest are already extremely harsh, even for the healthiest individuals. How could someone without both legs survive in the death zone? Hari Buddha Magar, a former elite Gurkha soldier, lost his legs after stepping on a landmine in the battlefield of Afghanistan. His barrier was not only the immense physical loss, but also a legal sentence, as the Nepalese government prohibited people with double disabilities from climbing the mountain due to safety concerns. Hari began his campaign to break down these barriers on two strategic fronts. Legally, he filed a lawsuit using arguments to prove human equality and forcing the government to lift the ban. Physically, he overhauled his entire military training system. He worked with experts to design prosthetic legs equipped with specialized ice-grip spikes, adjusting his body's center of gravity to adapt to the steep, oxygen-deprived terrain. In 2023, that strategic system led Hari to set foot on the roof of the world, making history like never before. His victory was not just the conquest of a physical mountain, but the crushing of massive mountains of prejudice. He left behind an invaluable human legacy. The only limit of a person lies in the mind, and a sharpened will can bend even the harshest laws of survival. The fashion industry has long operated under a system of standards that measures perfection in a cold, unfeeling way, dismissing anything that deviates. A hypothesis once existed that people with Down syndrome would never have a place on the luxury runway. Marian Avila, a young woman from Spain, was born with this unique chromosomal structure. Her appearance carries distinctive facial features which society once viewed as a sign of weakness and inferiority in both perception and looks. However, Marian completely transformed the analytical lens. She didn't try to hide or alter her differences, but instead turned her distinctive facial features into a unique signature. She honed her catwalk skills, poise, and professionalism to prove that fashion craved faces with storytelling power rather than industrial cookie-cutter beauty. She actively turned her presence into a visually powerful statement before the lens. That determination led Marion to stride proudly at New York Fashion Week, the epicenter of the luxury industry. She shattered invisible barriers, proving that beauty comes in many forms beyond what genetics dictate. Marion's success carries a profound human message. Diversity is the pinnacle of beauty, and no genetic code has the right to determine the vibrant dreams of a person. Medical records often set limits based on clinical statistics. When Chelsea Werner was born with Down syndrome, the healthcare system made a boxed diagnosis: she would have very weak muscle tone and poor coordination. This physiological hypothesis nearly sentenced her to a life where sports requiring explosive muscle power and precision like gymnastics were an absolute taboo for her. Chelsea reanalyzed those data through real action. Instead of succumbing to her inherent biological structure, she put her body into a high-intensity training regimen, gradually rebuilding her muscle system and neural reflexes. She focused on discipline and repetition, turning her core weakness into a driving force for improvement. She didn't just train to get stronger, she trained to completely break through the limits that medical charts had once outlined. The result of this practical analysis was 4 Special Olympics National Gymnastics Championships. Not stopping there, she ventured into modeling for the global brand H&M, spreading positive energy to millions. Chelsea affirmed a truth medical data only reflects the starting point, but it is the human will that is the greatest variable determining the end point of a life. In the world of high fashion creativity, aesthetic thinking and precise calculations require an incredibly sharp intellect. The bias hypothesis suggested that Down syndrome would nullify this complex artistic thinking. Isabella Springmule Tejada, a young woman from Guatemala, faced this wall directly when she was repeatedly rejected by fashion universities. They viewed her genetic makeup as a mismatch, not up to standard to join this demanding industry. Rejected by the mainstream education system, Isabella created her own path. She analyzed local culture using the vibrant hand-woven patterns of Guatemala, combined with modern design thinking, to establish the brand Down to Ejabel. Notably, she addressed a hidden corner of the market, designing clothing that perfectly fits the unique body structure of people with Down syndrome, turning a physical disadvantage into a refined fashion niche. Isabella's vibrant collections have extended beyond Guatemala, proudly appearing at London Fashion Week. She shattered all discriminatory arguments, proving through action that artistic creativity is never limited by the number of chromosomes. Her story is a beacon of hope, affirming that true talent always finds a way to shine brightly, no matter how many doors the world may close. What impresses you most about Isabella's determination? Leave a comment below so we can discuss it together. Because every response from you is a statement that talent and uniqueness always deserve to be celebrated. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss stories like this that change the world. Ballet is an art form that demands the perfect mechanical structure of the legs. The hypothesis posed is what happens to a dancer if they lose their thigh and knee joints. Gabby Schull faced the death sentence of her dream when she was diagnosed with bone cancer at the age of 9. The amputation of her knee to save her life meant the complete destruction of the lever system that allowed her to stand on her toes. All biological laws of the body said she could no longer dance. Refusing to accept the end, Gabby and her family opted for a bold, groundbreaking surgical method known as rotationplasty. The surgeons reversed her lower leg and foot, turning it 180 degrees, and connected it directly to her thigh. Gabby was tasked with an extraordinary mission, reprogramming her nervous system, tricking her brain into using her ankle joint to fully replace the function of the missing knee joint. She designed a specialized point shoe system to fit onto this reversed foot. Thanks to the intervention of science and her extreme determination to train her nervous system, Gabby stood tall and continued to perform stunning ballet spins on stage. Her dance was not only an art form, but also a biological miracle. Gabby sent a powerful message sometimes to move forward. One must bravely turn back the wounds, transforming the most crushing imperfections into a solid foundation for life. The traditional medical hypothesis views the loss of a limb as a permanent deficit, with prosthetics only serving as temporary compensation. Hugh Herr, a talented mountaineer, became trapped in a snowstorm, resulting in his legs becoming necrotic and leading to the amputation of both of his legs below the knee. The muscle mass, natural balance sensors, and inherent kinetic energy were destroyed. Society perceived him as a disabled person who would have to say goodbye to climbing rocks forever. Breaking away from the passive healing mindset, Hugh approached the problem with the mindset of a biological hacker. He turned to studying biomechanics at MIT, posing the reverse hypothesis: the human body can be upgraded. He personally designed a bionic leg system, biological robotics, equipped with microprocessors and a spring-like simulation system. He programmed these legs not just to walk, but to generate kinetic energy that could propel him up cliffs with greater force than actual human muscles. From a disabled individual, Hugh Herr rose to become a global pioneer in smart prosthetic technology, personally climbing cliffs so steep that even ordinary people couldn't conquer them. His achievements redefined the essence of disability, proving that no physiological barrier is absolute. Thanks to him, humanity understood that humans are never limited by the body, but only by technology and imagination. The guitar is an instrument designed specifically for the flexibility and delicate force sensors of 10 fingers. The musical hypothesis assumes that without hands, one cannot play complex chords. Tony Melendez, a victim of thalidomide, was born without both arms. The barrier wasn't just in holding everyday objects, but in the rejection of an art form that demands the most intricate coordination of the upper limbs. Instead of giving up on music, Tony began refining his entire physical approach to the instrument. He decided to awaken the potential of his feet, transforming his toes into picking points and holding chords with the same precision and pressure as fingers. He reanalyzed contact angles and repositioned the guitar on the ground to optimize leverage from his thighs and ankles, ultimately developing a proprietary technique that defied all standard teaching methods. This systemic breakthrough led to a stunning result. The magical music from Tony's feet touched the hearts of millions, even moving Pope John Paul II to leave his seat and embrace him right on stage. Tony Melendez stands as a powerful testament to the strength of adaptation, reminding us that true art isn't born from the hands, but flows from an unyielding soul. In the world of high fashion, the model's body is often viewed as a perfect mannequin, designed to showcase the clothes. Conventional wisdom suggests that a body with a hip disarticulation and a missing leg would shatter those golden ratios. Mama Cax faced this reality at age 14 when bone cancer took her right leg. Her crutches and bulky prosthetic were dismissed as things to be hidden under layers of pants to avoid pitying stares. Instead of hiding, Mama Cax launched a deliberate visual invasion. She refused to conceal her impairment, flipping the script by transforming her titanium prosthetic into a high-fashion accessory. She customized her prosthetic covers with vibrant colors and intricate carvings, boldly showcasing them through high-slit dresses. She forced the camera lens to recognize that metallic structure as an integral part of her sensuality and personal power. Mama Cax's defiant strides on crutches at New York Fashion Week shook the conservative foundations of the beauty industry. She shattered toxic beauty standards, forcing the world to acknowledge that disability can also be a high aesthetic icon. Though she has passed, her humanitarian legacy burns bright, reminding those with disabilities that their bodies are original masterpieces that need no one's permission to shine. A single stride on crutches can shake a billion-dollar industry that is the power of being authentic. If you believe beauty has no fixed standards, give this video a like and hit subscribe now so you don't miss the journeys of other resilient icons coming your way. Soccer is a sport of balance, speed, and nimble footwork. Mechanical theory suggests that someone missing a left pelvis and having only a right leg would lack the center of gravity needed to compete on the pitch. Nico Calabria was born with that distinct anatomy. Following standard rehabilitative thinking, he would have been fitted with a cosmetic prosthetic just to walk normally, but that would have meant accepting limited mobility and giving up on competitive sports. Nico analyzed and completely scrapped that cumbersome prosthetic. Instead, he applied the principles of dynamic leverage, using his forearm crutches like the forelimbs of a predator. He transferred his balance and explosive power to his arms, turning the crutches into an extension of his body to sprint, pivot, and maintain perfect equilibrium. This three-point mobility system provided him with agility that far surpassed any artificial limb. That biomechanical strategy transformed Nico into an elite soccer player, delivering a crutch-assisted volley goal that sent shockwaves through global media. Not only did he dominate the pitch, but that same locomotor framework also empowered him to conquer the majestic Mount Kilimanjaro. Nico's journey is a powerful lesson in optimization. Instead of trying to mimic a fake normal, use your own differences to forge an unmatched strength. The Hollywood system often portrays people with disabilities through a lens of pity or by using able-bodied actors to play disabled roles. Due to a lack of oxygen at birth, R.J. Mitta was diagnosed with mild cerebral palsy, which affected his muscle control and motor skills. Conventional career wisdom suggested that his physical limitations would slam the door on becoming a leading man, relegating him to nothing more than faceless background roles. But R.J. Mitta found a way to commercially leverage his exact neurological hurdles. When auditioning for Walter White Jr. in the hit series Breaking Bad, a character requiring a more severe case of cerebral palsy than his own, Mitta didn't rely on special effects. He reanalyzed his own body, intentionally halting his physical therapy and exaggerating his labored gait and slurred speech to fully embody the role. He transformed a biological impairment into a masterclass in method acting. This spectacular monetization of vulnerability allowed R.J. Mitta to create an iconic, authentic, and powerful character that changed the history of American television. His success served as a leverage point to shatter media stereotypes, ushering in an era where actors with disabilities have the right to tell their own stories on screen. R.J. Mitta proved that sometimes imperfection is the most premium material for creating great art. The herd mentality often defaults to a tragic script for young people suddenly disabled by traffic accidents, depression hiding their bodies, and resentment toward life. Paola Antonini, who lost her entire left leg after being struck by a drunk driver just before Christmas at age 21, fell straight into that dark narrative. A mountain of psychological and physical barriers weighed her down, threatening to imprison her vibrant youth in oversized clothes and tears. Fully understanding the mechanics of pity, Paola immediately launched a personal branding campaign to flip the script. She refused to be a victim. She equipped herself with a shiny metallic prosthetic, wore vibrant bikinis, and showcased it as a symbol of resilient survival. On social media, she constantly posted footage of herself swimming, dancing, surfing, and hiking, with a robotic limb effectively weaponizing her difference to strike directly at the public's visual perception. This positive psychological reframing transformed public pity into absolute empowerment. With millions of followers, Paola became a beacon of inspiration, proving that the joy of living isn't lost along with a limb. Her story is a vivid testament to the fact that we cannot control the disasters that strike, but we hold the absolute right to decide the defiant posture we take when facing them. Paola didn't choose the accident, but she chose to hold her head high and become an icon. What about you? Do you believe that mindset can completely reshape destiny? Drop a comment below to share your perspective. And don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the bell so we can continue empowering one another every day. Symmetry has always been considered the ultimate standard of biological beauty and an unwritten law in fashion photography. Visual theory suggests that a body missing an arm would shatter the frame's composition, creating a sense of incompleteness. Kelly Knox, born without a left forearm, was sidelined by talent agencies because she didn't meet the lens's strict golden ratio. Analyzing the conservative blind spots of the industry, Kelly decided to join the TV show Britain's Missing Top Model to dismantle prejudice from the inside. Instead of using a prosthetic or hiding her residual limb, she leveraged her asymmetry to create avant-garde poses. She utilized negative space the void where her arm would be to restructure the photo's composition, delivering a body language that was sharp, edgy, and completely one of a kind. Winning decisively and appearing in prestigious magazines like Marie Claire and Vogue, Kelly redefined the benchmarks of international fashion. Her intentional asymmetry was not a flaw, but a form of contemporary art that challenged every stereotype. Kelly's legacy sends a powerful message: perfection is a boring industrial product, while unique unconventional lines are what create an indelible human mark. A physical impairment is never a death sentence. By manipulating adversity and restructuring their own systems, these individuals shattered every physical limit and social stigma. Which breakthrough strategy impressed you the most? Leave a comment below so we can dive deeper. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. In our next profile, we'll uncover an even more shocking mystery: what truly happens when the human brain triggers its ultimate survival mechanism in the den-die. Den-de-den-de-dia.